Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. We've got the real reason a WWE star was suspended, a Chyna documentary being dropped, and issues with WWE moving their massive Thunderdome dystopian structure in today's WrestleTalk news. But first, WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash has wrapped filming his new movie, COVID-19 Invasion. That sounds a bit exploitative of the current global pandemic, you might think. Well, to you, quick to judge person, I point you in the direction of the film's official synopsis. Chinese bats invade America. It's up to Navy SEAL Team 6 to stop them. Oh. No, that is exploitative. And just like the WWF in 2001, COVID-19 Invasion hasn't signed any of the big WCW contracts to appear. Where's Goldberg? Where's Flair? Where's Disco Inferno? Do we not learn anything from history? Which 5 wrestlers would you most want to cast in an action movie? Let me know in the comments because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere pleading, save us, Kevin Nash. You're our only hope against the goddamn bats. Unfortunately, Braun Strowman starring alongside Kevin Nash in COVID-19 Invasion isn't why he's been suspended from WWE, because there's another, less virus-spreading bats reason. Damn, pesky bats. WWE announced Strowman was suspended indefinitely as part of a storyline following Monday's episode of Raw, where Braun headbutted definitely not the show's general manager, Adam Pearce. Pearce then booked a triple threat #1 contenders match for next week's show between AJ Styles, Keith Lee and Matt Riddle, and called the WWE champion Drew McIntyre. The reported plan is for McIntyre to face Strowman at TLC for the WWE title next month. But according to Wrestling Observer Radio, there's a story going around backstage that Braun got a knee injury in that elimination match at Survivor Series, and the suspension was done to cover this up, with the triple threat match as a plan B. If he's okay, he'll be getting the title shot at the pay-per-view, I guess, but if he's not, then they got a backup plan. Meltzer did admit he'd only heard the injury story from one source though, so this might not be 100% accurate. Ringside News have added since, so do take this with a pinch of salt, that Strowman isn't currently listed on WWE's internal company injury list, and the creative team have not been told Strowman is unavailable for storylines. This doesn't necessarily disprove Meltzer's report though, as there are several reasons why WWE wouldn't have updated their internal lists, like just not getting round to it yet, or if Braun has suffered a concussion, which WWE typically keep quiet. But WWE must be breathing a sigh of relief that a documentary on one of their most controversial former stars has been dropped for now. Vice's Dark Side of the Ring series has been hailed as one of the greatest wrestling shows ever made, tackling some of the darkest moments in wrestling's past with significantly more objectivity than WWE's North Korean approach to history. The 2 seasons so far have seen a 2-part special on Chris Benoit's double murder-suicide, Jimmy Snuka and the death of Nancy Argentino, and the final days of Owen Hart, the latter of which being the highest ever rated program on the Vice network. The show has been renewed for an even longer 3rd season at 14 episodes, where they'll hopefully find out who really did throw the pie at Kevin Owens, because according to Darkside's producer, they won't be making one on Chyna. Speaking on Wrestling Inc.'s new podcast series documenting Chyna, her former manager Anthony Anzaldo claimed Darkside were making a 2-hour special on her life, and he was offered $1,500 for a sit-down interview, but alleged he was disputing the wording of the release form he signed, saying he never gave them the rights to use his footage. Wrestling Inc. reached out to Darkside's producer Evan Husney, who replied with the statement, "There are no plans for an episode about Chyna for the upcoming season of Dark Side of the Ring. At the start of pre-production earlier this year, we became aware of multiple projects that were currently in production about Chyna, and thus we ultimately decided against pursuing this as a future subject." But while WWE won't have to worry about any Chyna controversy being resurfaced in the near future, they do have the rather large logistical headache of moving the Thunderdome to a new venue, with the Amway Center set to kick them out in the first week of December. Even though WWE's deal with the Amway Center expired on the 25th of November, where they've been running shows since the SummerSlam Go Home episode of SmackDown, the venue is letting them broadcast Raw and SmackDown until at least the 7th of December. As according to Fightful Select, WWE has found the setup time in their new Tropicana Field location to be much longer, possibly even twice as long, with the get-in starting this Saturday, which is expected to take until December 10th. The first show from Tropicana Field will be the 11th of December SmackDown. Maybe by then we'll have the new WWE baby from Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. You should be born on Christmas Day, baby Lynch. You're exposing the Messiah gimmick. Seth has given an update on the couple to the WWE Network, saying Becky is doing really well and their due date is fast approaching. Rollins was written off TV for the foreseeable future at last Sunday's Survivor Series to be at home with the new Bubba, which he described rather optimistically as a break. The timing of that worked out really well. It's a nice break for me, both physically and mentally. I assume he misspoke there and means his baby-dominated sleep schedule will break him, both physically and mentally. Interestingly, Rollins gave the impression Becky was eager to return to WWE after being off since May, saying, "I'm sure she's ready to get back to work just like we all are." But yeah, she's been so incredible through the entire pregnancy. There was speculation, even from Becky herself in interviews, that her priorities might change after becoming a mother, and she might focus more on her acting career, where she's reportedly had interest from several major studios, including Marvel. Now here's everything else going on in wrestling news. Ali might have led Retribution to semi-relevancy in the last 2 weeks, beating both Ricochet in a great match on Raw and just stealing a win from the men's Survivor Series team, but the 3-week push appears to have struck again, as the faction was left off Raw entirely this week and is once again being advertised for main event. Not the main event, remember, the WWE D-Show main event. To be fair though, this main event is unusually packed with star power, including Miz, Morrison and Jeff Hardy, so hopefully this is just a post-Survivor Series spillover and not a return to Ali being buried every week. For Mike Kanellis, he's happy to be gone from WWE, who released him and his then pregnant wife Maria as part of their mass firings back in April, calling his decision to leave Ring of Honor 5 years ago the biggest mistake of his life. Kanellis has now returned to ROH under his real Mike Bennett name, reuniting the Kingdom with Matt Taven. Ali and Bennett's stories are potentially cautionary tales to anyone about to become a free agent, like a number of current Impact Wrestling stars. Fightful Select is reporting that Impact filmed their last set of tapings of the year last week in a grueling 4 days, which will take the promotion all the way up to January 12th's Hard to Kill pay-per-view, and for some, this taping could be their last dates in the company. There are several wrestlers who have not re-signed new deals, and unless terms are reached, you won't see them on the next set of tapings. One of those is Ethan Page, who reaches free agency at the end of the year. For those wondering, Josh Alexander does not. Page and Alexander make up the brilliant tag team The North, who also briefly won the Quizlemania Tag Team Championships from Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson last month. Many wrestlers want to go to WWE because it's their lifelong dream, but AEW has provided a genuinely viable alternative where you can get national exposure on TV while still being allowed to wrestle for other promotions around the world and getting to play your Mega Drive on Twitch. And nowhere is that more evident than the promotion's top star Kenny Omega, who not only launched his own supplement line with Redcon 1 today, Wrestling Observer Radio is also reporting he's currently scheduled to defend his AAA Mega Championship against Laredo Kid in Mexico City at December 12th's Triple Mania 28, where he could also potentially be going in as AEW champion following his title match against Jon Moxley next Wednesday. Omega's AAA return does depend on the current COVID-19 travel restrictions in place though. Come on Kevin Nash, kill those bats! And Dwayne Gill, best known for playing the Goldberg parody Gilbert, has suffered a heart attack on Wednesday. Thankfully his wife has said he's doing good, he just got out of ICU. Awkward merch plug transition. Head on over to WrestleShop.com where we've got some fantastic Black Friday deals for you this weekend, including the WrestleTalk Essential Bundle, which gets you the official WrestleTalk logo t-shirt, hoodie and mug for just £49.99, our cheapest price ever. Click the merch link on screen now to be taken right there on what WWE star return has been scrapped. Click the video on the right to find out. And the Cinemania movie quiz returns today on Cineworld. Watch me embarrass Quizmaster Luke yet again to take his Cinemania championship. I've been Mr. Davis. Jam that jam.